In a quiet village nestled between vast stretches of green fields and thick forests, lived a man named Emeka, his beautiful wife Anom, and their only son, Jim. Life seemed perfect on the outside, but Emeka had a thriving farm, Anom was admired for her beauty, and little Jim was growing up strong and healthy. But beneath this peaceful exterior brewed a dangerous storm fueled by Emeka's jealousy and insecurity. After Anom gave birth to Jim, her beauty blossomed even more. She carried herself with grace, her skin glowing under the warm village sun. She dressed elegantly, her laughter like music in the marketplace. She often visited her best friend in the neighboring village, leaving Jim in Emeka's care. But instead of feeling proud or appreciative, Emeka's heart grew dark. His mind whispered poisonous thoughts. What if she's seeing another man? What if I lose her? Blinded by jealousy, Emeka made a fatal decision. He sought out a notorious sorcerer hidden deep within the forest. The sorcerer's hut smelled of herbs and decay, its walls adorned with charms and bones. Emeka's voice trembled with desperation as he made his request. "Give me something to keep my wife faithful," he pleaded. "He wants a charm that will make any man who touches her suffer. Let his manhood wither and die." The sorcerer gave him a bar of enchanted soap, dark and ominous. "Let her use this," the sorcerer said. "But remember, curses do not choose. They strike whoever destiny allows." Emeka didn't care. His jealousy drowned out the warning. When he returned home, he told Anom it was a special soap he had bought from the market. Trusting her husband, Anom used it without question. But after bathing, when she carried young Jim in her arms, something strange happened. A cold shiver ran through both of them. Jim whimpered briefly, but Anom dismissed it as nothing more than a chill. Emeka noticed it too, but shrugged it off, satisfied that his curse was working, completely forgetting that his son could be affected. Years passed. Jim grew into a handsome young man, kind-hearted and admired in the village. He fell deeply in love with Teju, a beautiful woman known for her grace and intelligence. Their love blossomed, and soon they were married in a grand celebration filled with music, dance, and joyful family gatherings. But their happiness was short-lived. On their wedding night, Teju discovered that Jim couldn't consummate the marriage. He was impotent. Shocked and embarrassed, Jim assured her it was just stress and would pass. But weeks turned into months, and nothing changed. In their culture, couples were forbidden from having premarital sex, and a bride's virginity was a symbol of her family's honor. On their wedding day, Jim even faked proof of Teju's purity by staining a white cloth with animal blood to deceive their families. Now, facing the harsh reality of his condition, Jim proposed a shocking idea. "Teju," he whispered one night, "we want children. You'll have to be with another man. We'll keep it secret. No one will ever know." Teju, though heartbroken, agreed out of love for her husband. She had her first child with another man, and Jim proudly claimed the child as his own. But something strange happened. The man she was with mysteriously fell ill and died shortly after the child was born. Thinking it was just bad luck, they repeated the arrangement with a different man for their second child. The same thing happened. He died mysteriously, leaving no signs of illness or cause of death. Fear crept into Teju's heart. She confronted Jim. "What is happening, Jim? Why do they all die?" Jim's face darkened with guilt and fear. After a long silence, he confessed. "I killed them," he whispered. "I couldn't bear the thought of another man touching you, even if it was for our family." Teju was horrified, but their nightmare wasn't over. Jim's best friend, Ola, became the third man. After Teju's encounter with him, Ola became obsessed, refusing to leave her alone. One day, Ola went to the river to gather herbs for his father, a respected herbalist. Jim followed him silently, rage boiling in his chest. As Ola bent over to collect the herbs, Jim struck him from behind with a heavy stick and strangled him to death. But Ola's spirit was strong. Refusing to rest, his ghost carried the herbs back to his father's hut. Standing at the doorway, the spirit whispered, "If anyone asks for me, tell them I'm fetching water from the backyard." €. Moments later, villagers rushed in, breathless and panicked. to inform Ola's father that his son's lifeless body had been found by the river. The old man laughed bitterly, thinking it was a joke. "Ola is right outside," he replied. But when he looked, Ola's spirit was gone. Realizing the truth, Ola's father was consumed with grief and fury. He performed a dark ritual, summoning his son's spirit to seek vengeance on whoever was responsible for his death. Days later, Jim was sitting outside with Teju and their children when he suddenly screamed, his eyes wide with terror. He had seen Ola's ghost standing silently across the yard. Jim collapsed, unconscious, his body cold and lifeless. Teju rushed to his side, screaming for help. Jim's parents arrived, and desperate for answers, they summoned the village priest and oracle. A ritual was performed to keep Jim's spirit from crossing over, using sacred snails placed on his chest. The priest demanded the truth. Through tears, Teju confessed everything. How Jim deceived the community about their wedding night, how she bore children with other men, and how Jim murdered them out of jealousy. The villagers gasped in shock, for such a story had never been heard in their history. The oracle was consulted once more. After deep meditation, the priest spoke. This curse did not begin with Jim. It began with his father, Emeka, whose jealousy cursed his blood. The spell meant for another man fell upon his innocent son. Emeka fell to his knees, wailing with guilt and regret. "I was blinded by jealousy," he sobbed. "I never meant to hurt my son." Ola's father, upon hearing the truth, stood silently for a long moment. Finally, he spoke. "Revenge feeds the spirit of the dead, but forgiveness sets them free." With those words, he performed a final ritual, releasing Ola's spirit and lifting the curse from Jim. Jim's eyes fluttered open, and he gasped for air, alive once more. In time, Jim's health was fully restored, and his manhood returned. He and Teju went on to have more children this time, without deceit or tragedy. But the scars of the past remained as a lesson for the entire village. Jealousy is like fire, it does not care what it burns. But even the deepest wounds can heal when we choose forgiveness over vengeance. What do you think of this story in the comment section?